Oh, this one's a doozy. Mars retrograde in Leo. Mars in Leo will move into Mars in Cancer. I have dates for you. I have forecasts for all 12 zodiac signs. I have the Vedic understanding and breakdown of what's happening. It's going to move back into Purnavasu Nakshatra, this particular constellation in the sky. And then it'll move forward again, Mars and Leo in Pushya Nakshatra. And I'll tell you a little bit about what those are and what planets govern these energies. We're going to talk about rulership. Okay, so Mars and Leo is ruled by who? The Sun. Mars and Cancer is ruled by the Moon. And so, hit the thumbs up and the likes button early, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a big one. This is an 8-month transit, okay? November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Oops, 7-month transit, okay? So from October 4th, let's start on the dates, is really when we began our retrograde period with Mars in Cancer at about 17 degrees and 1 minute, I think, or 10 minutes, one or the other. And so step one, this is already showing me, like, this is Mars in Cancer, who's ruled by the 10th and the 5th house. These are masculine houses in a way, right? 10th house can be feminine if you really want to say, you know, Capricorn is still a feminine sign, but it's that strong mother and the image that she projects of strength, that image that she projects of status, and the type of emotional status that you want to fight for, emotional status that you might even experience certain frustrations about. And the 5th house for this Mars in Cancer is really speaking about retaining and holding your emotional expression in order for people outside of you to think you have a certain strength that may artificially exist, because inside of you is really where the battle is taking place for Mars in Cancer. It's an internal battle, all right, with your own emotional landscape, and looking at trying to potentially impress people to make them think that you're emotionally resilient or strong, and on the outside you're putting on this front. And so this is the battle with a Mars in Cancer. And they you know, who are your role models? Okay, who are the friends that you feel you want applause from? If you look at your parents, because we're talking Mars, we're talking brothers. We're also talking potential father figures, or people that you may idol on the lower scale, right? Why did you crave attention from them? Why did you crave their appeasement? And this is going to be a battle for late degree to mid degree Cancers and early degree Leos, all right, as well as Capricorns and Aquarians, right? Anybody with those early Leos, mid to late Cancers, you're going to go through this battle. Now let's talk about Mars and Leo. Okay, so Mars and Leo is really where the inner strength is called upon, because Mars and Leo during this Mars retrograde is ruled by the 9th house and the 4th house. So the 4th house is a feminine energy, Cancer related, right? Cutting away the fears of your family and the conditionings that they put on you that Mars and Cancer, which we spoke about prior, are having to deal with. But Mars and Leo is the one that says, I am now in charge of my own inner strength. I'm in charge of the variety of emotions that I have and the passion that I share and how I share these emotional expressions are going to be more unique to me now. They're going to matter to my own dignity. I'm not going to look outside of myself for emotional support anymore, or to try to control the image of how I take action based off of my passions. Instead, I'm going to 9th house, take this own inner journey and become my own father. And so Mars and Leo during this retrograde is really the beginning, starting December 6th. All right, December 6th is when we go retrograde, Mars retrograde in Leo. This is the beginning of having to kind of go and review and revise and understand what kind of energy did I put in from October 4th, 2025 until December 6th. What did I put in? Have I trusted myself? Have I felt an internal strength when it comes to being decisive and making decisions? Am I respecting the variety of joys and passions that life is propelling and pushing me forward towards? Because at the retrograde, all right, you're going to notice that you're about a 4-degree orb of the North Node in Aries and Mars in Leo. And so the North Node in Aries, all right, this is a very powerful punch on choose your personal passions and joys. Do what makes you feel good. Do what makes you feel strong. Do what makes you feel happy. Do what satisfies you in the exact moment. And so from October 4th to December 6th, 2025, you got to really look at, what did I do? Was I doing what made me happy, that brought me joy, that allowed me to feel and experience this childlike baby enthusiasm, this enthusiasm of a newborn who looks at their parents like, you're the best thing that ever happens to me. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. And how did you cherish them? And what are you willing to do to gain attention and energy from them? And the reality is a baby is willing to do a lot, all right, depending on who your parent was and how they essentially guided you. It's going to be a lot of how Mars retrograde will hit and impact you. So now let's look at some more specifics, okay? One of the key things is with this, Leo is about variety, a variety of passion, a variety of sports, a variety of friends, a variety of, joy, a variety of sources that you gain your joy from. It's just about variety. It's not trying to master anything. It's trying to experience many things, to decide through these experiences, mental, psychological, physical, and otherwise, here is what I enjoy about myself. And here's what I enjoy about myself internally that is the external reality that I am living and experiencing. Because again, Leo is still an external sign, okay? But the 9th house and the 4th house, which rules Mars and Leo during this Mars retrograde, is an internal energy of how it externalizes its brightness, its brilliance, its radiance, which is different from Cancer, okay? Cancer is an internal sign, but it gains its internal security from external sources, being the 10th house of projection and fame, and the 5th house of, short-term moderate fame in high school, but doing it for the likes, for the claps, for the applause, for the thumbs up, for the new subscription that you're gonna hit if you're brand new on here. Subscribe if you're vibing and you're resonating with this. Okay, so well, you need to know when Mars was in Cancer October 4th, at the time, the exact moment of it starting its retrograde shadow period for Mars retrograde shadow, the moon who runs Cancer was in Scorpio. Dun, dun, dun. Right? And so the moon in Scorpio is ruled by the 9th house. You see a theme here, okay? But it was in the first decan, right? So the first decan of Scorpio is Martian. Okay, it's like taking actions on your personal beliefs. Now, second, there was a grand water trine happening during this October 4th when Mars retrograde shadow began. And the moon in Scorpio was conjunct Venus in Scorpio. Dun, dun, dun. Right? These two feared energies of the moon and Venus being in Scorpio. Feared, okay? Irrationally so. Unknowingly so. Now, second, the grand water trine was also finished up by Saturn and Pisces at 14 degrees. Duh! I just had to do that for reasons that are unknown. Okay, and so this Saturn and Pisces is in the second decan, which is going to be ruled by lunar energy. So it's ruled by, on that day, Scorpio. Okay, wait, so we're doing a tremendous major healing on our passions and our desires and our belief systems and how we attach to people and how we feel more powerful with other people than we're willing to feel powerful within ourselves. And now we're starting to look at some of these governing bodies and mentors and role models and understand, wow, I'm looking at you as my guru. I'm looking at you as my hero. I'm looking at you essentially as somebody that I can assign blame to through my own weakness. Weakness in this instance during this Mars retrograde in Leo, described by applying and supplying, okay, your own status, your own strength, your own projection of a lack of introspection, a lack of self-examination, which is what Pisces wants us to do in Saturn. It wants to get very structured and disciplined with, yo, I need to start introspecting a little bit more myself, because who's ruling me in this decan is Scorpio, and Scorpio is a sign who has a very powerful psychic external form of intuition. But it's inclined to internally reflect a lot, but it's actually afraid of some of these deeper psychological motivations and emotions. That's a part of the journey for the moon in Scorpio. So you got to understand that this is happening, and it's a healing happening with this. So we're going to go back during Mars retrograde to that story, to that narrative. And that's going to be very difficult for some people who didn't put in the self-worth, the self-respect, having an impeccable confidence and a lack of doubt for your own assertion towards what you desire, what you crave, and most importantly, what you fear. And what you fear most is what you desire the most. And so it's like, ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid to walk alone? Am I afraid to trust myself? Am I afraid to value my worth for everything it is coming after this full moon in Taurus? Okay, wait, what am I afraid of? Am I afraid of managing my money? Am I afraid of... Okay, you got to ask yourself that, and that's going to help you understand your desire, because Mars is about desire, and we're talking about a Mars retrograde. So the whole thing is leading back to this Moon in Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio energy, and what you learn during those times. Now, what you learn during those times is your inner efforts, your inner strength is going to reflect that outer strength. That's what Mars in Cancer is, and we said that already, right? Now, next, what you're learning is that your principles, along with your objective feelings, is what's going to guide your emotional value system. Okay, so what the hell does that mean? What I mean is you're going to become very principled over this next 7 months. Principled in the sense where you're going to set these non-negotiable agreements with yourself, and you're going to say, this is what I desire, this is what true strength is, this is the project I want to put my energy towards, this is what I want to put my assertion towards, this is what my frustrations of Mars and Leo is telling me. As I internally introspect, I no longer supply my my self-worth and my value in society to enemies that are public to me, to enemies that don't really want me to succeed. They actually just are worried about themselves. As I start to understand through this frustration of people who treat themselves well, that I'm not mad at you for treating yourself well. I'm mad at myself because I'm recognizing through you in reflection that I can, will, and desire and crave to treat myself better, to love myself more. And that's what this frustration narrative is going to be with when you talk about Mars and Leo. Depending on if you have your Mars and your natal chart on the bottom or the top, it's going to make this harder or simpler for you. If you have it above the horizon, okay, Mars, this is where it's in the spotlight, your battles are going to be more intense. If you have this below, this is the shadows, this is the private light, your battles will be less intense and they'll be more personal to you, and that will not assign so much energy to people outside of you, which means that you don't have so many battles with those other people. And so that's something to just look at for your own personal natal chart and see, okay, what's the impact of this going to be for me? Now, the last things that I have is, during this retrograde, you're going to try a lot of different things out, a lot of different projects, a lot of different passions, a lot of different excitements, a lot of different joys. And you really want to focus on what is the most simplistic joy, what brings me joy in the most simplistic fashion. All right. And how can my principles again shape, my value system, my emotional values, what I feel, inspired by in the moment and I want to do in the moment, and how my principles allow me to kind of shape and restructure those emotional values to, supply the validation, okay, and emotional intelligence required to be empathetic with those values that are inspired by moments. How can my principles, which are objective, which don't change, shape that? And here's what I mean, right? let's say one of your principles is, I reflected on this for myself. One of my principles at one point in my life was, I want to be able to work from anywhere in the world, no matter the country, on a laptop, and I want to do it via YouTube. That was my principle. And so every time I came across, a couple months here, a couple months there to try to get a job, when I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do about money? I knew clearly, like even when I felt the urge, okay, I'm in the States for, this little time frame, I can get a bartending job, I can get a server job, I could work here for 2-3 months, rack up the money while still doing my entrepreneurship, and then take that money and go back and live abroad. And my principles kept me strong and said, hey, you did this once, you did this twice. Now you're trying to do it for a third time, and then the thought came for a fourth time, and number 3 and number 4 are very weak because my principles strengthened by then, right? And in the beginning, I didn't have my principles intact, and so I took that bartending job, I took that serving job, and I was like, let's get this money, but that wasn't, right, something I can be sustainable on for the lifestyle that my principles were structured for. So I was inspired in the moment to go ahead, okay, I'm in the state for 3 months, let me just go get this bartending job and get this chick and get this money. But my principles started keeping me grounded and say, you know what, Pernell, once you have trust in yourself, once you value the fact that you're afraid right now, okay, value the fact that you're afraid right now, value the fact that right now this is just an inspired moment, this is what everyone else would do, but that's not your path, Pernell. And so eventually I had to say, this is my path, and that equated to, let's buckle down, because if I'm going to work these hours for somebody else, like I already thought about 8 years ago at the beginning of entrepreneurship, then I can make that money for myself. And at a certain point, 4 or 5 years ago, I made that commitment to my principles. And that is what, story-wise, Mars and Leo is really about when it comes to, having that feeling and objectively pursuing what that principle says anyways. All right, hit that thumbs up and that likes button if you're enjoying and resonating with this so far. Subscribe if you're brand new. Do consider joining our membership. If you're looking for some one-on-one support and mentorship, you got the Shamanic mentorship. Oh man, I've been upgrading that program. I've been doing some things behind the scenes after having some mentees, and it's helping me understand how to really shape the program. So check that out if that's something for you. And I'm telling you, like, I'm not gonna go into that right now. Like, apply if you're interested. If it's calling to you, it's calling to you. If it's not, then don't apply. I don't want you either. That's not even trying to be rude. That's me trying to be realistic and like, yo, if you're here for it, you're here for it. If you're not, you're not. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to me. All right. So during Mars retrograde, here's what's important, right? We have, when we go back into Mars in Cancer, once that happens, we're going to be in a nakshatra called Purnavasu. And the thing is, this is ruled and governed by Jupiter. Okay, so I'm going to try to put this on the screen in the meanwhile. This is ruled and governed by Jupiter. And Jupiter in Vedic astrology is not so kind, it's not so giving, it's not so abundant just because. It's actually very preparatory. And Cancer, if you know about Cancer, Cancer is a sign that prepares in the private, in the silent. So your actions are going to be taken towards preparing in silent and private for your future and how you will shine in the skills and attributes that you will show the world without trying to perfect it. Okay, but you will get to that perfection through your preparation. It will just exist. It will just seem perfect to other people in the public, even if you know individually and privately that it doesn't exist and it wasn't even your aim. So this is going to be something that you're going to have a lot of energy and action towards preparing 6-7 months from now. Okay, your truest self, acting, being, living, believing, and moving like your truest self and changing your emotional perception about how you were raised prior, okay? And you're going to do this in a way that's here to actually help you generate income as that most unique and authentic being. That's awesome, on some real talk, that is awesome. Because in the meanwhile, who's governing and ruling Mercury at that time of October 4th, the shadow period we're going back to, was something called Swati. And this is where Mercury was in Libra in Vedic astrology, all right? And is ruled by Rahu, which says you're going to have to try a lot of things in this preparation, in this understanding of how do you mother and guide and nurture yourself. You're going to have some challenges, okay, with the public to show up as that true individual, as a professional in society, generating income, able to put a food, bread, and things over your head to survive and actually thrive in a way that is uniquely individual to you. That's where we're going back to for October 4th in the retrograde period when the shadow began. Now, Mars in Leo, all right, starting on that December 6th, having its things where it's going to go back and forth. May 2nd, 2025 is when Mars in Leo will return, okay? This is when we're going to be in a nakshatra called Pushya. Now, Pushya is about taking care of yourself, okay? It is ruled and governed by Saturn, and Saturn is in a nakshatra of Venus, so it's about how do you relate with yourself in a way that shows very clearly externally that you value yourself, but not because you're aiming for that external, but because your internal strength and discipline that you have taken to literally, like a mother's bosom nurtures her child, her baby, gives the nutrients to absorb within the small intestines, Cancer, the stomach, all right, the small intestines, and actually be disciplined and efficient and effective enough to get rid of the things, okay, large intestines or the colon, pushing the dirt, the garbage, the trash out. So because we're in a pada of Venus, it's about pushing out the relationships that obviously do not support you. They don't respect you. They don't see you as somebody who's confident in your ability. And if they do, and they give you hate or they make you feel frustrated, they make you feel less than or less worthy. Remember, by this time, Taurus full moon has already come, and it's a very powerful full moon. I've been looking at it at night, and it's so bright, it's so brilliant. I'm like, wow, this one's a little bit more powerful than I think we originally understood. And I think that's why a lot of people search the the full moon and Taurus video, at least on this channel. So go check that out. It's there. Okay, so that is a part of our dharma right now, to in our professional career, in public status, in the relationship we have with people in that public realm, we are in a process of emotionally valuing ourselves in a brand new way. And again, 7 months from now, come May 2025, your friends are going to match 222 on screen. Let me know if you made it to this 22 mark, okay, on screen. And if you did, I want you to drop a star down below saying, I'm on track. Say that on track. I'm on track, okay? I'm on track with a star, because that's what 222 is. I'm on track with partnership and connection, because this is what Venus wants to do. It wants to measure our connections. It wants to measure our attractions and truly build something that is no longer illusionary. It's about being in reality, and that's the Saturn part of this. Now, who's ruling that, okay, Cancer in this, or this sign, is the moon in Shravana. That's where it was at the time of this retrograde. And this moon is actually, ironically, it's Capricorn energy, who's ruled by the moon itself, and is in the pada of Mercury. What the hell does that mean? Mercury now is saying, okay, listen to your experiences that you are retrograding right now. Okay, you heard me? Listen to your experiences. Okay, great. You got that? Awesome. Now your experiences are telling you this is how you feel. Internally, this is what your instinct says about the people that you are relating with. Shravana is represented by the ear, among other things. And the ear is saying, can you hear these subtle things in your immediate and physical environment that are actually not visible at all? Can you listen to these things, and can you let this form of intuition and guidance become your internal mentor, your internal guidance system and beacon? And this is happening under something called Kama. And Kama is about going for your desires, meaning listen to your true fears that you have, that you're afraid to show people publicly. So if I look at it for the Shamanic mentorship, for example, I've had a lot of people who are afraid to show their true self, to show that they are a shaman in this modern world of 2024. They're afraid to show that they are able to guide other people through their own stories of basically shamanic illnesses where they needed to heal themselves, and through those stories other people feel the confidence to start to feel I can heal myself too. right? So again, apply to the Shamanic mentorship if there's something you resonate with it, or check out my email list, because on my email list I'm throwing out some boom booms at the right times and only at the right time. So I'm not even going to tell you it's happening twice a month or none of that. Sometimes it happens once every 3 months. If the message comes, it comes. Sometimes it happens twice in a month. If the message comes, it comes. I'm going to share it officially and authentically. And so that's again Mercury, right? It's about sharing and disseminating information that you learn through your actual experiences, especially if you've had experiences abroad. This Mars and Leo energy, Leo has that abroad type energy, because again, Mars and Leo is ruled by the 9th house. So it's not just taking deeper internal journeys into your psychology and understanding your belief systems and your own personal philosophy that you are changing, that is now unique to yourself, not to the mentors and role models and guardians and parents and teachers, but unique to you yourself, right? This is the Mars retrograde in Leo. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button. I feel like we just murdered it, baby, and I feel good about it. This is an awesome time to be alive. I want you to drop down in the chat below. What a time to be alive. I feel alive. Stop letting people tell you that this needs to be a terrible, frustrating, angry time. I see green butterflies. Go ahead and bring the money in. I accept this. Accept that you can live abundantly. You can live financially free. You can live without somebody telling you that they need you, you need them. You can live without playing victim and assigning and associating blame with things outside of yourself. That was that grand water trine with the Pisces and Saturn and Pisces. So drop it down below and say, I am happily independent. If you want to take that a step further, because of what this is really about on a grander scale, it's about being happily independent while being able, willing, and ready to be interdependent. To be yourself in a relationship while still following your instinct about with your own ancestors, with your own guides, and the people within you that you have lived through all your past lives. What they're informing you is right for you, healthy for you, good for you, in the interdependent relationship with another, which means you can do and believe in your own personal independence, even while being connected intimately, vibrantly, and lovingly with another person, full of compassion and gentle tenderness. Okay? So drop that in the chat below and say, I am worthy. Start with this good energy. We're here to be optimistic. If you're in this channel and you got anything less than optimistic, that's okay, because you're here to find that good energy, that good ass life flowing through you on this Mars retrograde. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button. If you're brand new, subscribe. Let's check out the all 12 sign forecast. I want to say I love you. I'll see you soon. Aries, how you perceive yourself in relationships from an emotional perspective is undergoing a transformation, and you are officially with Mars, your own sign, in Leo, moving back to Mars and Cancer, are now understanding my external intuition about the people that I relate and deal with, and how I understand their desires and their fears, and how I can help them conquer their fears, is going through a brand new awakening of inner strength and power, Aries. If you agree and resonate with that during this Mars retrograde, drop the sun sign emoji down below. Let us know you're hearing your vibe, and hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you're brand new, Aries. Taurus, if you have not had the emotional strength to go ahead and start speaking up and saying what you need to say within your business relationship, within your romantic relationship, or your friendship, because your subconscious program is telling you, well, this is the social values of how my family used to do it. It's time to, during this Mars retrograde in Leo, moving back into Cancer, understand I can change my mind about how I emotionally perceive this, and I can actually start to speak up with dignity, with a certain sense of pride, and realize it's time to fight this and work against the grain. And it's going to be a little tough, but at the end of the day, your self-worth, you already know, is worth it. So hit the thumbs up and the likes button, Taurus, on this Mars retrograde in Leo. Gemini, what drives you to make and generate money? This Mars retrograde in Leo is actually going to have your immediate outlet, or the things that you do to promote yourself, your ideas, your genius, is going back through a little emotional shift and changing, okay, from the foundational level, I let money do a little bit of this to work me towards my ultimate dream, the dream that God has given me, the great work I'm here to do. But now I'm actually changing my mind, and during this retrograde in Mars and Leo, I'm going to start working with other people in a way where I'm not allowing myself to be controlled by those old stories of why and how I used to want to gain the things that make me feel comfortable, safe, and secure. So Gemini, during this Mars retrograde in Leo, hit the thumbs up and likes button if you resonate and you agree. Cancer, the powerful role models in your life is something that has been very impactful for you. You know, emotionally, you've been tied to their worth, and how and what made them feel worthy and valuable to really act the way they truly want to act, not how their parents and their parents and their parents acted. You are in the process of changing your literal identity, which includes changing the music that you listen to, the foods that you eat, the way in which you crap and poop every morning is completely going through a makeover. And at the end of the day, Cancer, Mars retrograde is something that's giving you a strength, the power over the next 7 months to truly be yourself and become your own boss. So drop the thumbs up and the likes button, Cancer, and subscribe if you're brand new. Leo, you're one of the main ones going through tremendous amount of irrational fears about being yourself and having the honor and the dignity to explore your own personal beliefs and really shift and alter these emotional beliefs and how they have not allowed you to fully be your true self. It's time to step into your identity in a way where Mars in Cancer, Mars in Leo, Mars retrograde is activating that North Node in Aries for you because it's trining your energy, especially early degree Leos. And it's saying, yo, personal joy is my birthright. I'm here to be a happy, brilliant, vibrant person. If you agree and resonate with that, drop the sun sign emoji down below saying, I'm vibrant, I'm happy, and I'm alive. When it's Mars retrograde, hit the thumbs up and the likes button, Leo. Virgo, you've had a lot of fears to go for what you really, really want, what God has told you you deserve, what God has told you and laid out for you. And it's the kind of thing where if you look at these fears and you reverse engineer them during this Mars retrograde in Leo, you can now start to see, wow, my true hopes, my aspirations, they're actually fueled by the desire to go against the grain, to go exactly in the direction of that fear. At the end of the day, this is what's happening for you, Virgo. You're feeling confident, strong, and your external intuition about the situations, environments, and what they're showing you is accurate. It's real right now, and you can take action towards achieving and obtaining these big investments that you've been putting in energetically, Virgo. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button, and I want you to drop a bag of money down below saying, I got it. Libra, this Mars retrograde has you dropping some friends, some groups, some connections, some newsletters, because you're starting to understand, wait a minute, time out. Why am I a part of this? Am I doing this because of some social expectation that makes me feel safe? And I feel safe because by cutting these things away, these people away, I'm actually going to stir the pot a little bit. I'm going to make a little couple people angry. Wait a minute, that's not worth it. I now have the courage during this Mars retrograde in Leo. I have the courage to change my mind and become an authority and understand it's time to take a new social direction and walk into my identity with a certain sense of security and strength because I'm worth it. I deserve it. Libra, you damn right you do. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button, and down below in the chat, drop a sparkle saying, I'm fucking worth it. I love you, Libra. See you soon. Scorpio, this Mars retrograde has you doing a tremendous amount of healing. Now, this is not just energetic healing like usual. It is a lot of physical healing because your physical body is telling me, oh, my elbow hurts. Oh, I got a stomach pain. Oh, my poop looks like this. Oh, this looks like that. And you're starting to interpret in the physical world what's going on. And it's allowing you to cut away and understand, yo, I keep having these physical pains because energetically, I'm not dealing with these beliefs. I'm not dealing with walking in strength and shaping my old emotional beliefs in a way that is actually empowering, optimistic. And as you start doing that energetically, physically, you'll notice that you're going to step into a brand new body like normal, and it's going to feel great and amazing. So I want you to drop the scorpion down below in the chat saying, I'm being reborn and I'm dealing with these things in the real time, in the real life, on today, in the moment, and I feel good about it. Take those pains away from your body, address them, understand the spiritual meaning, the psychological understanding, and you will win. Hit the thumbs up, Scorpio, on this Mars retrograde. Sagittarius, what fears do you have in love and entrepreneurship? Mars in retrograde is giving you the strength to go ahead and look at those fears and understand, time out, I got this third eye vision. I see through the nonsense. I'm not actually afraid to do this. This is exactly what I want to do. I feel confident. I'm going to try a little bit of variety out within my romance life, within my entrepreneurship life. Maybe you actually have the fear that you can't have a romantic partner who also can be this free individual who's not tied down by society and able to be themselves as well. Is it the fear? Is it your desire? You got to decide that during this Mars retrograde. But But Mars retrograde in Leo says you have the strength internally now to do that, to address that, and to honor the facts about how you feel, Sagittarius. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button on this Mars retrograde. Capricorn, is your lover or your partner in crime and business supporting you, allowing you to give you the strength to feel like, yeah, I'm worth this. I feel regenerated by this relationship. I feel regenerated by the goals and the aspirations that you're cheering me on for. If they're not doing that, are they for you? I don't know. You got to answer that question yourself. But what I can ask you and tell you is that your intimate connections and relationships and the way in which you are pursuing them, they should feel very nurturing. They should feel like they're very supportive. They should feel like they support your long-term hopes and dreams, even if you have to be a little stern and upfront about this is what it is, this is what I need now in this day. And make sure these people respect you, and you got to respect your own self internally first, and they will respect you. I see butterfly for you on the orange. Your relationships are going through a brand new rebirth, Capricorn, on this Mars retrograde in Leo, because you are changing how you feel and perceive emotionally the situation. You're feeling strong? Type that down below in the chat. See you soon. Aquarius, this has been a very long-standing narrative for you. You're having the strength, the power, the courage, and the effort to actually start working on the things that you feel is impactful, the things that actually matter. You're ready to start publicizing these things. You're ready to start promoting these things. You're ready to start getting your voice out there and becoming an authority in your field, in the great work, and actually start pushing your professional life forward in a way that is likely different from the social values of what your family has done prior to you. Aquarius, you are exactly that. You are unconventionally being yourself, unique from the family dynamic. You got to work on these things and respect your physical body in the meanwhile, and speak up on what's true to you as you become the authority, Aquarius, during this Mars retrograde. Who is opposite of you is going to be a lot of pressure, but you're going to be worth the results and the gains. You are going to be number one, Aquarius, and it's time. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button, Aquarius. We'll see you soon. Pisces, how much do you value the role models in your life, especially the masculine energies, which can actually be your mother if she was the stern one, if she was the one setting the law, setting the rules, setting the systems? Do you value what they're saying still today, or is it coming to a point where you're ready to kind of break free from that and start taking action and being assertive towards your own goals? What has made you feel safe about these relationships, and what has made you feel unsafe? That's going to help guide you in the situation, understand what do I need to work on in the physical world that are these programs, these no patterns that are actually not allowing me to feel safe enough to try these varieties. I'm ready to feel secure. I'm ready to stop blaming. I'm ready to start taking personal accountability and ownership for myself, the money I earn, and how I respect and work towards everything that I know is worth living for in this life and optimistically obtaining, because I have a vision of the future that I'm willing and ready to act on in the present moment and the now. Hit the thumbs up and the likes button and drop that now.